This is Nightline.
Tonight, Tiger Woods arrested. The golf legend charged with driving under the influence following a rollover crash on Florida's Jupiter Island.
But when it came time for us to ask for a urinalysis test, he refused, and so he's been charged with DUI.
Just days after making his return to competitive golf, following a nearly 2-year hiatus. What we're learning tonight.
This could have been a lot worse.
Plus, betrayal. A woman gets pregnant by a man who told her he couldn't have children.
He said I'd had testicular cancer and I'm completely infertile.
Only to find out he may have done it intentionally and to many other women.
You can keep the baby, great for you, but it ain't mine, darling.
Her fight for justice. And from the Jonas Brothers to Anne Hathaway and Bob Iger. Meet the latest class of Disney legends.
That's a big deal.
From ABC News headquarters in New York, this is Nightline.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Rhiannon Alley. Tonight, breaking news. Legendary golfer Tiger Woods involved in a rollover car crash on Florida's Jupiter Island just days after returning to competitive golf following a lengthy hiatus. Tonight, Tiger Woods arrested again after a car accident near his home in Jupiter Island, Florida.
Mr. Woods did a breathalyzer test, blew 000s, but when it came time for us to ask for a urinalysis test, he refused, and so he's been charged with DUI, with property damage, and refusal to submit to a lawful test.
Authorities say no one was injured in the accident.
This could have been a lot worse.
The road is 2 lanes and features a sharp turn with a posted speed limit of just 30 miles per hour.
The truck pulling a trailer was trying to slow down and pull over, and Mr. Woods was overtaking him at a high rate of speed before he clipped it back in and rolled his vehicle over on the driver's door.
The crash coming with less than 2 weeks to go until the start of the Masters in Georgia, where Woods could be competing. Woods returned to competitive golf at the TGL Finals earlier this week after not playing for more than a year following his 7th back surgery of his career. Woods has recently been seen golfing with his son Charlie, who's following in his dad's footsteps, verbally committing to play golf for Florida State University in 2027. And Tiger's also been in the spotlight for his relationship with Vanessa Trump, the ex-wife of the president's oldest son, Don Jr. President Trump reacting in Florida.
I feel so badly. He's got some difficulty. There was an accident, and that's all I know. Very close friend of mine. He's an amazing person, amazing man, but some difficulty.
But some of his most memorable headlines off the golf course have been for the challenges in his personal life. Just 5 years ago, the world saw this mangled SUV upside down in brush, the aftermath of an accident that trapped Tiger Woods in his car. At 7:12 a.m. the morning of February 23, 2021, outside Los Angeles, Woods is said to have flipped his car in a single vehicle accident. He was the only one in the car.
We arrived on scene and discovered the solo vehicle collision, and the sole occupant was, again, Tiger Woods. Deputies, at the time, they did not see any evidence of impairment, anything that of concern.
First responders on scene removed Woods from the vehicle through the front windshield.
I asked him what his name was. He told me his name was Tiger, and at that moment I immediately recognized him. I asked him if he knew where he was, what time of day, just to make sure he was oriented. He seemed as though he was lucid and calm. I will say that it's very fortunate that Mr. Woods was able to come out of this alive.
Officials said Woods was driving over 80 miles per hour, more than twice the speed limit before the crash. His team saying at the time that the golf legend had to have surgery to fix open fractures affecting both bones in his lower right leg, needing a rod to stabilize, and injuries to his foot and ankle that required pins and screws. In 2009, a now infamous Thanksgiving weekend SUV crash led to the messy details of his private life spilling out in the tabloids. A number of extramarital affairs ultimately landed Woods in rehab for sex addiction and led to a divorce from his wife, Elin Nordegren.
I am deeply sorry for my irresponsible and selfish behavior.
And in 2017, this mugshot making waves after Woods was arrested for suspicion of driving under the influence. But results of 2 breathalyzer tests showed that Woods did not have alcohol in his system. The golfer said in a statement at the time that what happened was an unexpected reaction to prescribed medications. I didn't realize the mix of medications had affected me so strongly. Authorities say they believe today's incident involved medication.
there is a Florida statute which he will be charged with for refusing to take that test, but we will never get definitive results as to what he was impaired on at the time of the crash.
Per Florida law, authorities say Woods can be held for 8 hours behind bars.
He'll pay the price, but he's not going to pay the price by getting punished in jail.
We will, of course, continue to follow details on this story as they emerge. But for now, we turn to the war. As the diplomatic standoff continues, it's day 28 of the war with Iran. ABC's Matt Rivers is in Doha.
Tonight, sources telling ABC News Secretary of State Marco Rubio told G7 leaders in France the war in Iran could last another 2 to 4 weeks.
We are on or ahead of schedule on that operation and expect to conclude it at the appropriate time here in a matter of weeks, not months.
2,200 Marines are set to arrive in the Middle East any day now, and up to 1,500 paratroopers from the 82nd Airborne preparing to deploy, sparking speculation the Pentagon is preparing for a possible ground offensive in Iran. But tonight, Secretary Rubio saying the U.S. can still achieve its goals without putting boots on the ground.
We can achieve them without any ground troops, without any.
Those troops headed to the region as the U.S. looks to break Iran's chokehold on the critical Strait of Hormuz, sending shockwaves through global energy markets, oil and gas prices skyrocketing. Global oil prices tonight above $100 a barrel, gas prices in the U.S. closing in on $4 per gallon. Drivers in many parts of the country already paying more than that to fill up, prices up more than $1 since President Trump started the war.
Stay with Nightline and ABC News for continued coverage of the war. And when we come back here, a woman gets pregnant by a man who she says told her he couldn't have children, why she believes he was lying and has done the same thing to many other women. Welcome back. We turn now to the disturbing story of a woman who became pregnant by a man who told her he was infertile, only to discover she is far from his first alleged victim.
Neil was charismatic and witty, just a nice, normal man.
More cuddles, Ralph.
That was the ruse.
There's something very strange about this baby. You can keep the baby, great for you, but it ain't mine, darling. It seriously isn't mine.
I've spoken to probably 200 people who Neil traumatized.
Everything he told me was a lie.
I'd never seen anything as extreme as this.
Someone really needs to stop him.
For years, this story lived in whispers until it crossed the Atlantic and found an audience on the hit podcast Betrayal.
I'm Andrea Gunning, and this is Betrayal, a show about the people we trust the most and the deceptions that change everything.
Gunning is now sharing these stories on the ABC true crime docuseries Betrayal, Secrets and Lies.
Today, I'm talking with Tina Maya.
Tina's story begins after she moves home to London for a new job, leaving New York where she'd been married, divorced, and had a baby.
So it was very early 2016. I was at one of these conferences in London. That's where I stumbled across Neil Lorman.
He's a successful businessman, and he even has an interesting hobby. He loves cooking and appears in YouTube videos.
If you cook this, I'd actually come round for dinner and let you cook for me.
Would you spoon me afterwards?
Why not?
Tina had no desire for a relationship. But after the conference, Neil texted her out of the blue.
And Neil seems like he might be good fun for a drink. Okay. And he said that he was divorced also, and they lived together in the States too, and that his ex-wife had got quite bitter about the fact that he couldn't give her children. He said, I've had testicular cancer and I'm completely infertile. I felt like he was being, quite vulnerable and genuine. It actually drew me to him.
Tina starts seeing Neil more often. She still has no desire for a relationship, but she's having fun with him and she's enjoying the sex.
That was part of what it was. And part of what was fun. Even though he told me he was infertile, I was still worried because having another child was not in my plan. He's like, no, I have 0 sperm count. But he had sort of dropped into conversation about having a lot of allergies, and one of those allergies was latex. So he couldn't use protection.
Tina started noticing things about Neil that were off-putting.
I heard him have a phone conversation with his mother, And he was being so awful to her. And then there was the lying. He was clearly lying about his education. So it was these little things.
Just as Tina's hoping that this relationship with Neil fades away, she starts to experience this familiar but concerning brain fog.
And then my period was late. So I got a pregnancy test, immediately popped up, pregnant. I was like, well, no, I can't be pregnant. Bought a few more. That didn't work. I thought, Neil doesn't know. He can have children.
Tina decides to keep the baby and reaches out to Neil.
And then he really got quite venomous.
I cannot produce children. If you are pregnant, how you deal with it's not my problem. I have 0 sperm. Don't sit there putting things on me that this could be mine, because it isn't. Medically impossible.
It got really weird. So I just said, you're more than welcome to take a DNA test when the baby's born.
Neil refuses to do the DNA test. But Tina didn't need it. She knew he was the father. She hadn't been with anybody else. She just couldn't understand why he was adamantly denying it. But she moved on without Neil. And in January of 2017, Tina welcomed her baby girl, Josephine, and she calls her Fifi.
When my daughter was born, she had really serious jaundice. The light treatment wasn't working. And they said, then we're going to need blood types of the parents, any medical history.
Tina was afraid for her baby's life. She hadn't spoken to Neil in months, but she had kept in touch with one of his friends, and she reached out to him.
I suddenly get these long, nasty texts. How dare I contact his friend, and that he would not be giving any medical history. Luckily, the next level of lights did work. After a week in hospital, we were able to go home.
Tina and the baby are settling in nicely at home, but she can't let go of how Neil conducted himself. So she decides to take action against him.
I thought, I'm going to set the child maintenance service onto you for the next 18 years. Not because I want the money, but because you deserve it. Because you're not a nice person.
Tina submitted an application to the Child Maintenance Service, which is the UK's agency for child support.
When the report came through, it said that he had been assessed £5 a week because he was a benefits recipient. But then the next really alarming thing was that that £5 a week was split between 4 children. The first thing I did was go to Facebook, and I look up Neil's last name, Lorman. Straight away, up comes a profile. I thought, well, this must be his ex-wife. And on the profile was a picture of 2 young girls. And they looked like Fifi. I thought, should I write to her? So I did. I said, I've just had a baby, and the father is Neil Lorman. And quite quickly, she got back to me. The first line was just, I am so sorry that you have also been his victim. I'm like, oh.
Neil's ex-wife tells Tina that they've never lived in the United States. He's definitely the father of her 2 kids, and he's never once mentioned having cancer.
At this point, I realized that he had impregnated me maliciously. He knew what he was doing. There is absolutely justice that needs to be served against Neil. I didn't consent to be with a fertile man.
To find out what happens, watch the series Betrayal, Secrets and Lies, premiering right here on ABC this Sunday and then available on Hulu and Disney+. And when we come back, from the Joe Bros to Anne Hathaway and Bob Iger, the newly minted Disney Legends.
That's a big deal.
And finally tonight, a treasured Disney tradition honoring a new class, including the man who led Disney for nearly 2 decades. Here's our David Muir.
Tonight, 70 years since the gates of Disneyland opened in Anaheim, California, and the words of Walt Disney.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
There have been those inspired by Walt who have helped shape Disney into the company it's become. For nearly 40 years now, the prestigious Disney Legend Awards, a select few who've made an indelible mark on Disney. The 2026 honorees just announced, including ESPN anchor Chris Berman, producer Jerry Bruckheimer, actress Susan Egan, animator Eric Goldberg, actress Anne Hathaway, Imagineer Kim Irvine, actor Dwayne Johnson, musicians the Jonas Brothers, songwriter and actor Lin-Manuel Miranda, actor Alan Tudyk, and perhaps the most notable this year, the leader of Disney for more than 2 decades, Bob Iger, who is now handed over the reins to Josh D'Amaro. A storybook ending for Bob, a visionary CEO and chairman who worked his way up at Disney, beginning at ABC News more than 5 decades ago.
I started at this company as a studio supervisor working on shows like AM America, which is the precursor to Good Morning America, and ABC Sports and a lot of other things, never expecting that I would end up having the opportunity to run one of the greatest companies in the world.
Under Bob's leadership, Disney acquiring Pixar, Marvel, Lucasfilm, 21st Century Fox.
Now, family, put on the mouse ears.
In 2019, opening the Disney Vault with Disney Plus.
That's a big deal. All Disney in one place never existed before. That's going to Disneyland every day of the week.
Growing the parks, there was Shanghai.
Well, look who's here. Your vision, Bob.
Welcome to Shanghai Disneyland.
And setting into motion the newest park in Abu Dhabi.
I saw that image of you, Bob, that you posted.
Yes, walking on the property that will one day be Disneyland. When Josh and I first visited, we stood on that same property, and you look at the water and you look at the sand, and you think, well, we can do this.
A friend and mentor to so many of us, I asked Bob about something he wrote in his book, The Ride of a Lifetime.
At the end of this grand sort of experiment, this voyage of yours, that you still feel like the little kid from a simpler time, a simpler place, and that has been one of the keys to your leadership. Does that still hold true?
It does, David. You know, first of all, I remember watching the Mickey Mouse Club on a small black and white television in my home in Brooklyn, New York in the mid-50s. And who would have ever dreamed that one day I'd be running the company that guy that created that program created or started. But yes, I think humility is very important, and really remembering where you came from and who you were, because in reality, you know, we're still made up of the same DNA as we were when we were born, and that's how I view myself. But deep down, I don't feel like a different person at all. I'm the same person I've always been.
Which is a testament to your success.
Our thanks to David for that. That's Nightline for this evening. Thanks for staying up with us. Have a great weekend. Good night, America.